Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CCISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. A well-crafted security program charter serves as the formal foundation of a successful cybersecurity program. It establishes the authority of the security function and defines the organizational mandate under which the CISO and their team operate. The charter outlines the mission, scope, and governance structure of the security program, tying those responsibilities directly to the organization's broader business objectives and risk tolerance. With a clearly written charter, security initiatives gain legitimacy, policy enforcement gains support, and the use of resources, including staff, tools, and budget, can be justified in line with executive priorities. A strong charter is also vital for audit readiness and regulatory defense, providing a definitive source document that clarifies the structure and oversight of the program. For the CISO, the charter is not just an administrative tool. It is the central declaration of authority, responsibility, and strategic alignment. Executive ownership is a key component of a valid security charter. Although the CISO typically authors the document, it must be reviewed, endorsed, and formally approved by senior leadership, ideally at the board or executive committee level. This top-down sponsorship sends a clear message that cybersecurity is an enterprise priority, not merely an IT initiative. Executive endorsement of the charter helps eliminate ambiguity around reporting relationships, governance structures, and program funding. It empowers the CSO to act cross-functionally, enabling coordination with business units, legal counsel, HR, and other functions in support of security operations and enforcement. A charter that lacks executive sponsorship may struggle to gain traction, especially when conflicts arise over authority or resource allocation. As such, the approval process is not a formality. It is the mechanism that converts the security program from operational function to strategic enterprise asset. The contents of a security program charter must be carefully structured to address both internal governance and external obligations. The charter should begin with a mission statement that reflects the organization's commitment to cybersecurity and outlines the high-level goals of the program. This is followed by a defined scope, which lists the systems, data types, departments, and operational environments covered by the security function. The roles and responsibilities section defines who is accountable for which aspects of the program, from the CISO to departmental security liaisons to control owners. Authority levels should also be specified: who can approve policies, who can grant exceptions, and who can escalate issues. The charter must reference the control frameworks and regulatory standards that guide security operations, such as ISO 271N, NIST CSF, or GDPR. Lastly, the document should describe the governance structure, including security steering committees, escalation paths, and reporting channels. This clarity ensures alignment and supports enforcement. Want to close out? For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. A security program charter must be aligned with the organization's strategic direction. This alignment requires mapping security goals directly to the enterprise's risk priorities and compliance requirements. For example, if the organization prioritizes resilience and uptime, the charter should reflect objectives for availability and continuity. If innovation and digital transformation are priorities, the charter should emphasize secure development practices and flexible controls that support rapid delivery. Organizational values, such as customer trust, privacy, and integrity, should be woven into the charter's language and objectives. The charter must also be tailored to the organizational structure and security maturity level. A multinational company with distributed teams and complex regulatory environments will require a more detailed and granular charter than a smaller firm with centralized operations. By promoting strategic alignment, the charter becomes a guide for investment, prioritization, and executive decision-making. Risk management principles are at the heart of any effective charter. The document should explicitly state that risk assessment and treatment are ongoing functions of the security program. It should refer to the organization's enterprise risk tolerance and define how security risk fits within broader risk management frameworks. The CSO's role in identifying, assessing, and communicating risk should be clearly outlined. This includes defining escalation thresholds, procedures for accepting risk, and processes for documenting and tracking mitigation efforts. If third-party risk is significant, the charter should reference how vendor assessments and supply chain oversight are conducted. Linking the charter to the organization's program and risk register reinforces the strategic role of the CISO and positions security as a contributor to enterprise risk decisions. Security governance is another essential component of the charter. Governance structures must be formalized, with roles for security steering committees or working groups clearly outlined. These bodies are responsible for setting policy, reviewing control effectiveness, approving exceptions, and tracking compliance metrics. The charter should define how governance decisions are made, how accountability is assigned, and how oversight is maintained. This includes referencing how control audits are conducted, who approves remediation plans, and how exceptions are documented and monitored. By promoting structured governance, the charter helps ensure that security policies are created thoughtfully, enforced consistently, and updated systematically. Transparency and continuous improvement should be emphasized throughout the governance section, reinforcing the idea that security is not static but evolves with business needs and risk conditions. The authority granted by the Security Charter is essential for policy development and enforcement. The Charter must explicitly authorize the CISO and designated personnel to develop and implement security policies across the organization. This includes the authority to enforce those policies, apply disciplinary measures for non-compliance in accordance with HR and legal guidelines, and restrict access or disconnect systems that pose a risk to the organization. It should also define the scope of delegated authority. Control owners, department heads, and project leaders must understand what authority they have to implement or modify controls within their domains. Aligning the charter with internal legal and HR frameworks ensures that enforcement mechanisms are consistent with labor laws, organizational policies, and due process procedures. This clarity protects the organization and the CISO while supporting accountability. The communication and distribution of the charter are vital for its effectiveness. Once approved, the charter must be communicated to all relevant stakeholders, including department leaders, project managers, and control owners. It should be made easily accessible through a governance portal or organizational intranet. The charter should be referenced in onboarding materials for new employees and incorporated into training and awareness programs for managers and control owners. Ensuring that leadership across business units understands the charter's purpose and implications helps reinforce a culture of accountability. Periodic communications such as emails, presentations, or training updates should reaffirm the charter's role and ensure that awareness remains high. Without visibility, the charter may lose its authority and relevance over time. Maintaining the security charter is an ongoing responsibility. The document should be reviewed at least annually or whenever significant organizational, regulatory, or risk changes occur. These may include mergers, major system upgrades, regulatory shifts, or leadership transitions. The revision history should be tracked carefully, and updated versions must be reviewed and reapproved by the appropriate authorities. Once changes are made, they must be communicated to stakeholders and reflected in documentation, training, and governance materials. Integrating the charter into the organization's continuous improvement and security maturity models ensures that it remains a living document capable of evolving with the needs of the business. The CIO-CISO exam includes multiple topics related to security program charters. Scenario-based questions may ask candidates to identify issues with scope, authority, or alignment in a draft charter. Candidates must understand terms such as mandate, delegation, and governance. The exam tests the CISO's strategic role in defining the program's purpose, gaining executive endorsement, and using the charter as a tool for audit readiness and policy enforcement. Candidates must demonstrate how the charter supports not only compliance but also strategic risk management, policy development, and enterprise leadership. Questions may also explore how the charter interacts with HR, legal, operations, and executive committees. A firm understanding of charter structure, ownership, and purpose is essential for success on the exam and for real-world security leadership. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cyber CCISO Prepcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com.